Hey everybody, you like my watch? You know, I love it because with it, I can always be on time. Although eventually my wrist does start to hurt though. Get it? Be on time, sitting on my watch. Never mind, I gotta go anyways. I'm gonna be late to the dentist. It's already tooth hurty. Welcome everybody to our family series, Jesus Practices, where kids and grown-ups are coming together to talk about 7 healthy life habits that are going to help us grow in our faith and in following Jesus. This week we're talking about our 3rd habit, prayer. Prayer is the practice of us communicating or talking with God. And if that's a topic that interests you, know that we just completed a whole series on prayer, so go back and watch those episodes later. But for today, we're going to focus on the question of when. When should we pray? And that brings us to our discussion topic for today. In your opinion, when is the best time of day to pray? Think about it, share, and discuss. Maybe for you, you said we should pray before we eat, or I like to pray before I go to bed. Whatever it is, know that throughout the Bible we see many examples of different times that people are praying, and they all seem to be good. And once again, just like the other practices, Jesus is our example for the practice of prayer. In the Gospels, we see that Jesus prayed in the morning. Sometimes he prayed at night. He prayed before big decisions and in the middle of conversations. Jesus also prayed by himself, or with small groups, or with big groups. Jesus prayed when he was at peace, and Jesus prayed when he was dealing with something really difficult. Jesus prayed all the time. Jesus' life is the example to us that the practice of prayer is core to who we are as his followers. And since we're talking about times of day and prayer, that gives me an idea for a game. Game time! Okay, I'm calling this one AM or PM. This is how it's going to work. I will tell you an hour and an example of something that might be going on during that hour, and it's your job to decide if that is in the AM or the PM. So figure out what time of day it is and put the right AM or PM on there. For each correct answer, you get a point. Here we go. It is 6 o'clock. I've woken up and I'm spending some time alone with God in the quiet, reading my Bible, getting ready and asking God to help me to follow Jesus today. AM or PM? If you guessed AM, you're right. 6 a.m., nice and early in the morning. Okay. All right, it's 3 o'clock. I'm talking to a friend who's having a problem, and we're praying together to ask for God's wisdom. AM or PM? That one's definitely PM. We're talking late afternoon. I'm usually not talking to friends at 3 a.m., which would be in the middle of the night. Good job. Let's keep going. It's 7 o'clock. Just finished cooking and sitting down, getting ready to have a meal with my family, and we're praying a thanksgiving to God, saying thank you for the food and asking for a blessing on the meal. AM or PM? That one's tricky. It could be either one. This one happens to be PM, but I'll give you a point either way. It's a dinner time prayer. We're praying before our meal. Okay. Last one. It's 1 o'clock. I am unconscious, resting my body, and praying like this. AM or PM? That one's the nighttime. That's 1 a.m., which even though AM we usually think of morning, AM at 1 is nighttime. You should be sleeping at 1 a.m., and that's usually what I'm doing. Great job, guys. So when should we pray? Well, look at what Paul says in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 17. Pray without ceasing. Talk about a memory verse. Pray without ceasing. Or another way to say it, never stop praying. When should we pray? all the time, anytime. If prayer is us communicating with God, we should always have that line of communication open. We always want to be talking with God, no matter what's going on during the day. Okay, and if this is a practice that you want to jump into, here are a few prayer pro tips for you. Pro tip number 1, pray for the highs in life. So, when something awesome just happened, when you're feeling good, when life's going great, pray. Another tip, pray during the lows in life. When you're sad, when you're confused, when you're having trouble, when you need help, when something tough just happened, pray. And lastly, pray regularly. No matter how you're feeling, pick a time during the day that you're going to commit to praying so that it's on your schedule to do all the time. For me, that's first thing in the morning when I wake up. I like to spend time praying, and that way I know that at least once a day I have a set time for me and God to talk. And that brings us to our practice for this week, the practice of prayer. I want you guys to experiment with praying throughout different times during the day and see which one fits you, which one you like, and then make a decision and a commitment to hopefully pray every day at that time next week. I hope these practices are helping you grow in your faith and in following Jesus. That's it for this week. God bless you guys. I'll see you soon.